Hello everyone, in this video we are going to wrap up our unit on fractions, looking at some order of operations with fractions, absolute values, and algebraic expressions. Now just a quick reminder about the order of operations, or BEDMAS, is when you are solving problems, it's important that you solve them in the correct order. We start with anything inside of brackets first, then we do exponents, then division or multiplication, and then addition or subtraction in the order they appear in the problem. And we are also looking for hidden multiplication and division signs. So for example, if I have something like 4 bracket 5 minus 2, it really means 4 times 5 minus 2, or 4a really means 4 times a, but we don't usually write those multiplication signs in. And if you have like a fraction line like this, it really means divide, but with brackets around the top and the bottom. So it's a division you do at the very end. So let's try some out with fractions, absolute values, and algebraic expressions. Now you can use your calculator here for actually doing the computation. Don't forget about your ABC button on your calculator to help you put these in. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this question is I'm looking at brackets. They do have brackets, but there's nothing to solve inside of the brackets except my absolute values here. So I'm going to apply my absolute value, making this positive. I now have to do my multiplication and division in the order it comes up. So I'm going to do 5 and 7/9 times a negative 8 and 3/4. So I'm putting that onto my calculator using my ABC button. And I get negative 50 and 5/9, and I'm dividing that by 7 and 5/6. And I get negative 6 and 64 over 141. So the first thing I did was my absolute values, then I did my multiplication division in the order it come up. Let's look at our next question here. I have an exponent outside of a bracket. So when you have that, the exponent applies to both the top and the bottom. So if I have a over b to the power of n, that's the same as doing a to the power of n over b to the power of n. Okay, so if I look at negative 6 over 7 squared, that's like doing negative 6 over 7 times negative 6 over 7. Or we could say it's the same as doing negative 6 squared over 7 squared. And I'm going to take that negative value with the 6 because the negative is inside of the brackets. And so you get 36 over 49, and it's going to be positive, okay, because a negative times a negative is positive. So now I have 36 over 49 minus 6 squared over 7, or 36 over 49 minus 36 over 7. So you'll notice that I've done both of my exponents, and now I can do my subtraction. So I need to make a common denominator, which is 49. To get this to be a fraction over 49, I have to times by 7, and 36 times 7 is 252. And so I end up with a negative here. So 36 minus 252 over 49 is going to be negative 216 over 49. And if I simplify that into a mixed number, in its smallest form, I get negative 4 and 20/49. Okay, let's put these all together in a big one here. So I have brackets, so I need to do that first. Then I can do my exponents, and then my division, and then my subtraction. So let's do the multiplication inside of the brackets here first. Again, we can do this on our calculator using our ABC button. And we get -9. So I end up with -9 squared divided by 27/11 minus a -5/3. So now that I've solved everything that I can inside of the brackets, I'm going to do my exponent. And -9 squared is a positive 81. So now I can do my division. 81 divided by 27/11 is 33. And now I can do my subtraction, which, because I am subtracting a negative, that is going to be the same as adding. And so I end up with 34 and 2/3 all together. Okay, so I did my brackets, then I did my exponents, then I did my division, and then I did my subtraction of a negative. Okay, let's look at a few with algebraic expressions in them. So again, when I am adding, I need to make a common denominator. And so I'm trying to find a common denominator between 9x squared and 7x squared. So if I just look at the 9 and the 7, then the least common denominator of that is going to be 63. And the x squared is the same. So my common denominator there is 63x squared. So to go from 9x squared to 63x squared, I'm going to times by 7. So I get 49/63x squared. And to get from 7x squared to 63x squared, I'm going to times by 9. So I get 81/63x squared. And if I add them together, I get 130/63x squared. So I'm trying to see if there's any number that goes between 130 and 63. And there's no number that divides, there's no number that goes into 63 and 130, so we're just going to leave it as 130/63x squared. And finally, here we have a subtraction. I notice that we have a exponent, so I'm going to apply that first, and I get 49/x squared, because remember that squared applies to the -7 and it applies to the x, and because the negative is inside of the bracket, it then becomes positive, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay. Now I'm going to do my subtraction, which, because we are subtracting a negative, becomes addition. And so I want to find a common denominator between x squared and 6x squared, and that is going to be 6x squared, because I can times x squared by 6. So I want both of these to be fractions over 6x squared. My second fraction already is. My first one I have to times by 6. I'm going to do 49 times 6 is 294. And so I end up with 299 over 6x squared. And I want to see if there's any number that goes into 299 and 6. And there isn't, so I'm just going to leave it as 299 over 6x squared. Okay, so all in all, when we are doing order of operations with absolute values and fractions and exponents, the process is still the same. You solve anything inside of the brackets you can. You're then looking at exponents and then doing multiplication and division in the order it comes up, and then addition and subtraction in the order that it comes up.